Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7, and today we're going to do a guide on Cecilia. I kind of put this off and I realized how dumb it was to put off building a guide for Cecilia because I personally didn't think she was really, the best unit right now, but waifu, why would I not make a guide on somebody who is super waifu? So let's do that here and, let's just talk through her skills, her abilities, her equipment, her Molagora requirements, everything that you need to make her your best waifu as possible. Before we go through this here, most of this is probably going to be focused on PvP, but it'll also work for PvE as well. But in general, there's just not much use for her in PvE right now. I don't think she camps too well either. We're also going to show you a guild war at the end of this video, so make sure you watch that too. Big shoutouts to Temeter for letting me show off this Cecilia because it really impressed me and it made me want to build mine myself. And it just goes to show when you put this much devotion into somebody, it might not be as good as somebody else, but it's going to be at least usable. So make sure you stay for that at the end of this video here. So mine is +7 right now. And first off, her abilities. Number 1, we have a Deliverance. This is a skill 1 with a 50% chance to decrease defense after Molagora. The base is 35%. Probably the best you can get from a skill 1, I would say, is defense down. It would be nice if it was a little higher percent, but 50% chance with all the Elbrus procs and everything is kind of really good. As for her skill 2, I honestly think this is what holds her back right now. Her skill 2 is just not in a good place. It has a base 35% chance to decrease attack for 2 turns. Its AoE damage doesn't do too much though. Also, when she's less than 50% HP, that doubles up to 70%. Or if you are fully Molagora, it will go up to 50% and 100% for both of those. As for her skill 3 here, it's really good actually. It's 100% chance to provoke if you're Molagora, 85% if you're not. AoE damage actually does some pretty good damage too, and it grants a barrier to herself for 2 turns. It's like, imagine if your MLCC just a little bit worse everywhere, and that's kind of what you get with your skill 3 there. So honestly, her skill 1 and skill 3 are pretty solid. I like them a lot. It's just her skill 2 I haven't, that's what really feels lacking for her. As for Molagoras, for your waifu Cecilia, you're probably going to need a lot of them, and that's one of the biggest problems with her. But it's easier now than it was before with how much less Molagoras cost. But if you're going to be seriously using her on any sort of guild war defense or offense or anything like that, I'm pretty sure the 10% effect chance here is basically a requirement. And I think if you're using Elbrus, I would do the 15% as well. As for her skill 2, it's very much less important. I would get at least probably the 10% damage. The extra effect chance is great and all, but honestly, it's a lot of Molagora, so you really need to think that through. Obviously, if you're really trying to waifu her up and use her effectively, you're going to need at least the 10% effect chance there, but you can get away without it. As for her skill 3, I would say you 100% need -1 turn cooldown, and it's really nice to have the other 2. I'm the type of person who would rather have a 10% chance to fail than spend a Molagora on 10% effect chance, but you really will need all of these things if you want to make her the best you can be. So pretty much bare minimum requirements, I would say, are at least 2 to 3 would be like the bare minimum. And outside of that, I would go 4 probably, and then if you want to go ham on her, you've just got a +15 her at this point. Okay, as for her gear, she's a greedy little girl. She's really greedy. You need every stat basically. You need speed, you need HP, you need defense, you need effect resistance, you need effectiveness. If you want to actually do any damage, you need crit rate, crit damage. The only thing you don't really necessarily super need is going to be the attack percent, although attack percent always helps. So let's take a look at my gear and kind of talk about how I would go about gearing her. So first off, I would probably start with immunity on her, just me personally, just because of who I would gear her with. You can go without immunity if you want. You can go for let's actually go without immunity. Let's go with like let's just go with a semi-offensive non-immunity build and see where that goes. So the first thing is you have to decide on if you want HP or speed boots. I think those are the only two options. You could potentially go defense percent on one of the right side slots if you really, really, really have a good piece of gear. But in general, you're probably going to want either HP or speed. So because she's fine with either, I think I'm going to try with HP percent. So I've got two decisions to make here, and usually if I go HP percent on my boots, I want to get a speed set. So I'm going to start with this one here. This one gives me defense percent, attack, speed, crit chance, basically everything I need on this piece of gear. As for the ring, we're definitely going to go either HP percent or defense percent here. And it's probably going to be a speed set maybe. Or we can go with something like this. Let's go with something like this instead. It'll help get our crit rate up and try to get a little more damage in. It's also really defensive too. One of the biggest mistakes people make on HP-based bruisers like this is they completely ignore defense. Without defense, you're going to get just absolutely bodied, so keep that in mind there. So we're going to be going speed crit for our set right now. The second set you use can be basically anything you want, whatever two sets work for you. It's mainly the stats you're going for. And we're going to try to get HP percent for the neck as well. You can go with crit rate, you can go with crit damage, you can go with HP percent, you can even go with defense percent with good subs if you want, but me personally, I'm gonna go with HP percent and try to get some crit rate, crit damage subs here. So looking at these here, it looks like we're gonna be taking a lot of my Lilius's gear. So there is that. This one's pretty good though. It looks like we're gonna need effectiveness actually, so let's stick with that one. That leaves us with 3 pieces left, so we've got crit rate and speed here. Let's go for a crit rate piece, and I think my crit rate piece is going to have to be my chest here. So we're looking for HP, we're looking for defense, we're looking for speed, we're looking for effect resistance, and all those things. So I'm not sure which one of these we're going to do. I don't think we need the crit damage here. I think it's kind of last on our list right now. So this one would be pretty solid. This is probably what I might use, but we're just gonna go with this for now, and we'll screw with that later. We will screw with that later. As for our speed helm, we have 73% chance to crit, so we really want to get at least 12% chance to crit from these last two spots. We're at 129 speed right now, so we want a little bit more speed. We're at 19k HP, 11k defense, so we're going to want a little bit more of both of those. So basically, we just want a little bit of everything at this point. And probably going for more defensive stats than offensive stats. So I would put this one on right now. And let's do another speed weapon here. And just any one of these weapons is going to be fine. So this is what mine ended up looking like. We've got 1550 attack, 1222 defense. I do not like that defense. So if I was to kind of fix this and look back at this, I would definitely get my defense probably in the 15 to 1700 range, but it's really hard to do that without sacrificing too much. I've got 171 speed, which I think is fine. I haven't decided yet if I want to go really fast on her or not, but I think that's fine. And we have 83 crit rate, 150 crit damage, 41 effectiveness, 37 ER, a little bit of everything. But let's just kind of see what we look like with a speed set pair of boots instead here. Because this might be better too. We've got 21k HP, we dropped a lot there, but we're up to 201 speed. So as you can see, you have a ton of choices with your Cecilia and how you want to gear her. So keep that in mind going forward. There's a ton of things you can do. Okay, so as for her awakens and everything like that too, you're going to want to get all of these. You can't go without all of these. They're so good. I think she gets speed and effectiveness. It's just insane. As for Nightmare Mask, I believe you can farm them in World 6 and buy them from the shop there. And Blessing of Orbis, just find some place that drops an Epic Catalyst that also drops those or has the ability to buy them from the shop there. What else do we need to talk about? Her artifact. A lot of people might want to use Cecilia as a defensive unit, bring Aureus or something like that, but I think that's kind of wrong. I think Elbrus is the way to go. It's pretty hard to not use Elbrus, especially when you have defense break on your skill 1. The ability to counterattack defense break, have your unit go in one-shot somebody is just too much of a threat to have her without that on your defense if you're using her there. If you're using her in PvE and you want to stabilize, just something like Aureus might be fine. But in general, I would lean towards Elbrus on waifu Cecilia here. And I think that's it. I think we covered everything we needed to cover at this point. So what I'm going to leave you with at the end is one of the Guild War battles I fought against Temeter. I think I'm saying your name right. Big shout out, big thanks to him for being awesome and inspiring me to build my Cecilia more. Really impressive. He's in a top 5 guild, I believe it's Big Band, so you can see Cecilia in action for what really good gear is, and you can see me fight it and kind of see the problems with her at the same time, you know. See the skill 2 not being the best, see the Elbrus kicking butt, and see all those shenanigans. So we'll leave that with you here, and thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I will talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful day. Bye everybody. I basically, I'm just wanting to test this out. Like, the entire goal of this Guild War is to test out the top team. I just want to see how they work together, like, what happens. I want to see if this Dizzy's over 240. And then I want to see if they can take out the Dizzy, if they can handle the other two after. The bottom team, I don't even know what to do. I need my Crow for this. I need my Bellona for that. But we're gonna give it a shot. Attack Shinx. I will look at Shinx after. Bum, 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 bum. And also, it looks like if I'm going to be using this Bellona, or not this Bellona, this Luna, she's going to need a little bit more speed.
It takes a lot of courage to challenge me.
Gonna need a little bit more speed. Do I even skill 3 here? I don't, right? I just like auto attack. But skill 3 will push Luna ahead, but then Luna won't actually... Maybe Luna will get the kill on one of them? Plus, S3 looks really cool, so it's really fun to use S3. Yeah, pretend you're AI. Fair, fair, fair.
Leave it to me.
Fair.
Disappear, evil one.
Well, that's the plan, Cass. The plan is to dual attack every turn, and RNL every second turn, right? That was a lot of damage from that CC there.
I will break through. I never lose.
I don't think we're gonna kill this team. Elbus, I hate Elbus so much. Okay, okay.
Don't worry. Luminescence. Glory.
So Destina's on Wondrous.
On my
Destina's on Wondrous. Yeah, that CC's no joke. I really wanted to see the CC.
You're not bad at all. For a rookie.
So this is pretty much exactly what I expected to have happen. On defense, I would lose the Baiken after she went first, and then it's just a matter of if my 2 people can take out their 2 people. Like, that was the plan, right? Like, this is exactly what was gonna happen. Exactly what I expected, I mean.
This way. I'm on my way. Lance of steel.
And also, I think it would have went better, too, because when we hit auto, we had skills off. So we missed a defense break right at the start, and I think that would have, like, made it much better.